everyone, so today I wanted to do a video reviewing some brushes. I did film this look, if you're wondering. That whole video will be posted at some point. But I wanted to talk to you guys about these Morphe brushes. I ordered quite a few of these, specifically the MB, what are these? The MB line. I will have the information on the screen, and there, of course, there will be a link in the description box. It's not an affiliate link, it's just there for your convenience if you are interested in browsing the site. So I got some brushes. I'm going to first talk about the MB brushes, and I'm going to talk about a few other ones from the other line that they carry. They have so many different lines. It can be quite confusing. So Morphe Brushes is a company that's based out of Burbank, California. They do have a store there, and then of course most of us get our products from their site. They do sell brushes, they do sell brush sets, individual brushes, makeup, all kinds of stuff. I think they put on their LA Girl stuff recently. They have their $2 eyeshadows, which I think are really great, and also their eyeshadow palettes. I talked about those briefly in my favorites for 2014, the eyeshadow and palette video, which I will link to below. I have used Morphe brushes and these brushes, and then of course their shadows, in numerous tutorials and videos, and I quite enjoy them. So I wanted to just kind of jump right in and start with the Morphe MB5. Now some of these may have rubbed off the writing, but this is the MB5. You can't really see this one too much, but this one's a dual fiber brush. And I actually really like this. I like the short handle of it. I like how it looks, the sleekness of it. Black handle, black ferrule, and the black bristles. In the close-ups that you are looking at, you will see that the bristles are dual fibers, but they're black and like a dark gray. So I really like this one a lot. This is the one that I use for bronzing and contouring. I know it seems quite large to contour, but if you use the side of it, you can really get right into it and then kind of buff upwards, and it works really well. I also have used this on the side of my nose, taking the side, dipping it into the product, going on the sides of my nose to contour, and then of course, like I said, quick, easy bronzing, especially when you want to just throw on a bit of color. If you have like a foundation that is your same exact skin tone, you want to add some depth and dimension and color to the skin by bronzing and contouring. So I use this MB5 brush for that. I really do like it. I've washed it a few times and I haven't noticed any shedding with this one, and it has remained intact, the shape that you get it in. So I do like that one. Another one that's very similar to that is the MB36. This one is again another dual fiber brush, but a much smaller size, full size handle compared to this one that's thicker and shorter and just more chubbier looking, as you can see there. But this one would also work really well for contouring if you wanted to buff powder products or even cream contour. But what I use this brush specifically for is highlighting. I like to use this on the tops of my cheekbone, down the center of my nose, on my cupid's bow, the highest points of my brows. You can use this, like I said, to contour and even to bronze, but you'll be there with more time bronzing because it's such a small brush. But you could use this to blend out your foundation. I don't use dual fiber brushes for liquid or cream products as far as foundations are concerned, because I have specific brushes in my collection that I really, really enjoy the finish that they give me. So I have not used this one for any sort of foundation application. But I do think that this one is really good to have if you are looking into getting a small sort of highlighting or contour brush, or one that can do both. The MB36 would be the ideal brush for you. The last face brush is the Morphe MB3, and as you can see, again, it has that sort of two-tone colors to the bristles. They're really, really soft, start off really, really dark, and then it gradually fades as it comes to the tips to a really soft wash of gray, like a dark gunmetal color. I do like this brush. I do think that it's really good for applying a lot of your powder products. You can use this for blush, although it is a little bit small. With some just precision and just paying close attention to where you're applying it, you could get by with using this for blush. I like using this for powders, just to dust it on my T-zone, or if I wanted to, just buff powder all over the face and then blend it down towards the neckline. So I do think this brush is really soft, and again, I haven't noticed a lot of shedding. Now, this is the one brush that came broken, as far as, not broken, but just the ferrule which is this part here, and the handle came in 2 separate pieces, and I had to use super glue to hold it, and of course the super glue that I used wasn't really the best quality, so I will probably eventually need to at some point re-glue this as I wash it and the more I use it. So I have to be really easy when I hold it and not be so rough with it because it is a little bit sort of a little loose. The next one is the MB23 brush. This one is another crease brush. Again, has the same style of bristles as you can see in the close-ups. This is one that I use all the time. I love using this to buff a transition shade, just kind of throwing it onto that crease area without really paying attention, just kind of buff it on really messily. It's fine. I do like this brush a lot for applying more precise crease work or crease colors. Do you think it's really good? You could use this to actually set your under eye or blend in your under eye concealer. I have used crease brushes before that are not synthetic like these, like the dual fibers, for concealer, and I do like it, so this would actually be a lot better because it's softer and hopefully, so I'm touching my face with this. These are dirty. I didn't wash them before the video. I probably have like black stuff all over my face. While I was on vacation, I did use this brush to smudge some color. I know it seems rather large, but it kind of gives you sort of like a smoky look that's quite messy, but it looks like it was intentionally done that way and not that you just threw something on with your eyelids closed. But I do like this brush. I do think that it's really soft, and out of the brushes I would recommend the MB23. I do like this one a lot. Another brush is the MB14. This one is, as you can see, quite large. I didn't expect this to be as large and as thick, the handle, as I have it here. I thought that when I saw it online it looked a little bit thinner, but I must have either thought that this was going to be a regular shadow brush or I confused it with another one that they have. They do have different kinds of shadow brushes. I think they have one that's a little bit thinner as far as handle wise because this is quite thick, and then of course the bristles on here, as you saw in the close-ups, are quite thick. I did use this to pack on some blue eyeshadow. Not really the best size to apply shadows over cream bases because when you apply a powder product over a cream color base, you want to have precision with that. You want to make sure that you're applying it right on the lids and not getting the color all over the place, and that is what you're going to get with this. You're going to get some fallout because it's quite large, although this would be good for cleaning up around your outer corner if you want to get more of a precise look to your eyeshadow with some shadow that matches your skin tone. Clean that up. You could use this to dust it all over the lid like a solid color. If you're on the go throwing like something sort of shimmery and some mascara, you can just take that color and just buff it all over and be done. This is a good brush to have. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not really necessary. I think it could be a little too large for everyday use. The next one is the Morphe MB32. This one, as you see, is an angled liner brush. I do like this one a lot. I use it all the time to smudge some color really close to lashes. A lot of the times lately I have been skipping the liner altogether and just using shadow. I think it's a lot softer, more natural looking, and I use this angled brush for that. I do like to use this to apply color onto the lower lashes. And this also is a really good size to use for brows. It is very tapered and the bristles are not sort of like fluffy. It's really nicely structured where it has that angle to it and it's not super thick, so you can get a precise line with it, especially if you're using like gel liner. But if you're using it for the brows, you can really get in there precisely with your brow products, whether they're like a dip brow type of product, brow gels that are tinted like the ones from NYX that come in a squeeze tube, or even just regular powder eyebrow products. So this would be a really good brush. I do recommend this one. I like it a lot. So those were all the MB brushes. As far as the ones that I use, I would recommend the MB32, which is the crease one, the MB23 crease, and then this is the MB32, which is the angled one, and then these two, the MB36 and the MB5. So these, out of all of them that I got, would be the ones that I would recommend. I would pass up on the MB3 and the MB14. I don't really see myself using those a whole heck of a lot. Although they are very affordable, they're brushes. You know, like I said, some of these, like this one, came unglued, and you have to kind of fix that. So just be mindful that when you're buying something so cheap and inexpensive, don't expect it to last a long time, because chances are they're not. They're really, really cheap, and it can get even cheaper than these. They have some other brushes that are very, very cheap. So before I let you go, I wanted to also sort of give you my feedback on these other 3 Morphe brushes, and then kind of give you some history and some backstory of customer service, because I do think that that could be something useful if you want to spend your money with them or not. So the first one is the MBS21. I have used this so many times. I love it. I think it's really, really affordable. I think it's a great brush to have. I have used it so many times and washed it, and I don't feel like it has shed. I felt like it's kept its shape really nicely, so it's really, really good. And you probably can tell from the close-up that some of the glue, you can tell that they didn't do a very good job with gluing it, because it's quite messy, although it doesn't bother me because the brush itself is intact and it's nice and straight. It's not like it's lopsided or anything, but you can just see a little bit of the glue that maybe seeped out onto the actual black handle. But that just, you know, goes to show you that these are not going to be quality like MAC or higher end. So this is a good one. I do like the S21. The S12 is another brush that I really like. It's very similar to the S21, but as you can see in the close-ups, that this one is a lot more shorter in bristles and just more tapered. It's like a pencil brush, but a little bit fluffier. So this would be really good for applying crease colors precisely. I wouldn't say like a cut crease, because that is using a smaller brush, more like a pencil style brush. But if you wanted to use this brush to apply shadow all over the lid, take some transition color, put it on, put some crease on, you could use this brush to do your whole entire eye look, and also smudging it. So I do like this brush a lot. I use it primarily for blending out a lot of my crease work, because I tend to go a little too high with the crease colors, but I do think that this is a really good brush to have. And the last one, this one doesn't have a name on it, so that may be a thing that you might experience with them when you order. Your brushes may not come with their labels on it. Why? I don't know, but this is the Red Sable brush. I think this is the medium size. Got this specifically for packing on pigments, but it's quickly becoming one of my favorite brushes for just really packing on color onto the lid. I used it today when I filmed this tutorial, and it worked really well. I love this brush for applying the Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadows, because those are a lot creamier and just a whole different formula compared to regular powder shadows that you find from all kinds of brands. Those are a lot softer, and I feel like when you use a brush like this, as you see in the up close shots, that this is very tapered, very small. The bristles taper to a nice sort of rounded edge, and I feel like it's not too thick and not too wide. It kind of reminds me a lot of the MAC 252, and I don't have up close shots of both of them together, but you can just see there that the MAC 252 is a lot wider and longer with bristles, and definitely a lot more in cost, because MAC brushes are very expensive. But if you wanted something like the 252, I know that MAC does have something very similar in a smaller, like more scaled down, that is quite similar to this one. And I think Morphe brushes has a small, medium, and large version of this. I will have it linked below if they do have other sizes than the one that I have. So that is all of my brushes that I have from Morphe so far. I do like them, and I would recommend adding the S21, the S12, and then the Red Sable brushes to your order if you're needing brushes like this. If you have some, then I would say skip it. Obviously, you don't need them. But I do like them. Although I don't need any more brushes, I can't help myself, and I want to try more brands and expand my collection. So I do think that these brushes are good. Like I said, I would skip these two, the face one and this really thick, fat eyeshadow brush that I don't really use that often. So overall, I do like the brushes. I do think that for the price, they're not bad. They're good for what you're paying for them. I think the most expensive one that I'm showing you today is probably right around the $10 to $12 range, and then some of them are even as cheap as, you know, $4, under $5. So really inexpensive. So if you want to expand your collection with affordable brushes that can last you until maybe you can save some money to buy some really high-end ones, some really fancy brushes, then that might be an option for you. Or maybe you're just one that you just like to have a bunch of brushes and try different brands and you're curious about them. I do want to mention my customer service issues with them, because a big part of me doesn't want to order anything from them again, because like I said, when I got this order, I just paid for the cheapest shipping, which was through the USPS. And they do offer some other shipping options, and some that come with insurance. And when I received this MB3 brush into 2 pieces, I wish I would have maybe shared the photo. I don't know if that would have been the right thing to do, posting that on social media. But I did receive it in 2 parts and I had to glue it myself, and so I figured let me just call them and see if maybe they'll be willing to replace it and send me a new one, because this obviously left their store or wherever they ship from in that condition, because there's no way that out of my other brushes that I was going to receive just one broken. Why didn't these come separated, you know? So I called them, and they're really nice people, don't get me wrong, but when I asked if there would be any way to replace my brush, and they pulled out my order, and they said to me that they would not replace it simply because the shipping method that I chose had no insurance. So because it doesn't have insurance, they can't, you know, do a claim on it and I guess send me a replacement, which I think that's just the wrong answer, especially when you're in the business of selling a product. If somebody has a broken item, it doesn't matter if they paid for the least expensive shipping or the most expensive overnight shipping. You as a company should want to replace that so that you can satisfy that customer and keep them happy, because your customers drive the business. And for me, having retail background and just being a manager for a business, I know what customer service is like, and that is one of the biggest things for making money, is being the best that you can be at customer service, because that will keep you in business for a long time, because people will remember, oh, Morphe brushes, it came broken, I called them and they replaced it right away. You know, that makes people want to order more and come back. I just think that they should have maybe handled that. I don't care if I paid insurance or not. I don't think that that should have been a decision whether or not to replace an item, because I didn't break it. I've ordered brushes from them, I've ordered eyeshadows from them that are a lot more, I guess shadows, they're more delicate than a brush. So if those shadows didn't arrive broken, and I never pay higher shipping, I pay always the cheapest shipping that I can if it's not free, and their other products have arrived to my house in perfect condition. So I do think that they could have handled that better. I don't think that I would order from them anytime soon. Maybe some more single shadows, because I do like those, but I wanted to share that with you because I feel like you need to know about that. So if you are going to order from them, I would suggest that you pay for the shipping with the insurance, of course. As always, that comes with a higher shipping rate. But in the event that you get something broken and you don't have the insurance, they're not going to replace it. I don't think that they would just single me out, because they don't know that I do YouTube. They don't know who I am. They don't know. I mean, I'm probably not even known very well on here because I don't have a lot of subscribers. I'm just being really honest and just really open and very transparent about these things, because for me, something like that would kind of make me push back, going from, you know, I want to order from Morphe right now to, you know what, let me just step back and not mess with that anymore, because I'm not going to pay a lot more money than I need to. I don't think it's necessary. You know, I can wait 5 to 7 days for an order to arrive in the mail. I don't have to have it overnight, because that's always like 20, 30, 40 bucks for shipping, which I think is stupid. I don't think it's necessary to spend that much money. I can wait. So unfortunately, I would recommend these brushes. I would recommend and highly suggest, I say, to have insurance, because if something happens, they will replace it with the insurance and they'll help you. If you don't, then of course you can always just glue it. That's no big deal. It's usable. It's not like it's the end of the world. Had it been like the bristles separating and the ferrule, it was unglued, everything into bristles everywhere, I probably would have been a lot more disappointed. But I fixed it and it's usable. Had it not been usable, I would have wasted some money. So anyways, I will stop ranting there. I just wanted to share my thoughts on these brushes, show you them up close, and then of course tell you my customer service, and then just let you decide for yourself. So if you've tried anything from Morphe brushes, let me know what you've tried. Leave it in the comment section just in case somebody is tuning into the video and they've never ordered from Morphe brushes. You can share with them as well what you like from the company and your experience with them. If you have good, positive, whether it's negative, just leave it there. Just, you know that somebody can read these comments, so just, you know, don't say, you know, screw them, or, you know, vulgar words in your comments if you don't like the brand. So I thank you for being here with me today, watching the video, and I hope that this review was helpful. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's at GlamourBelix. It's at the bottom of the screen. And please subscribe. I do appreciate your support. My subscribers mean the world to me, and I would love to have you join my little family here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.